Hello guys, I'm Savvy and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video. In this one's actually quite interesting. So I'm going to be heading actually in orbit of Kerbin. And the reason for that is because there was a mission that I did in one of my previous live streams, which I'll put up on the screen right now, the thumbnail for it. And it had me do a contract where I had to go to Eve and to have two vessels dock with each other. I did it successfully. I took the vessel back with me. The only thing I forgot to do was to put parachutes on it. And two, because I thought I just had to dock them together and not take them back home, but apparently I had to. So I didn't have enough fuel. Well, I was able to bring it back home, but I didn't have enough fuel to get back down all the way. And then I also ran out of solar panels. I ran out of power. It was really bad. So during the stream as well, I tried to build a vessel, a manned vessel, to try to get back down by using one of the engineers, Bill, and see if I could attach parachutes. Now, I was able to do that, but it was still stuck in space, so I had to try to push it manually. And I did a little bit at a time, but I didn't want to do it the entire stream, so I decided to end the stream. So instead, what I decided to do is make a video out of it. And so you see me building this rocket here, and we're gonna go into space. And I have it sped up at pretty much 400 times or below 4 times speed because this took quite some time, and I'm gonna just go through it with you, kind of a walkthrough as to what's going on. So I built the vessel here. I wanted to make sure that I had enough fuel because I had to also change my trajectory when I get into orbit because it's at a weird angle, and you'll see once we get around Kerbin. But what ended up happening is I did the asparagus staging setup, and then I had a big I had like 3 stages: the bottom stage, a middle stage, and a top stage. Which the top stage helped me maneuver around a lot and everything, and I had plenty of fuel left over, which I wanted to make sure that I did because during the stream as well, I ran out of fuel in my manned. Well, I actually ran out of power in my manned rocket, and then I eventually ran out of power, so I had to push that manually to get back down. So it was rough. It was rough through and through. But this time I put on the solar panels, so I have power continuously, and I made sure that I had plenty of fuel this time as well. So we're just going around, and eventually we get ourselves in orbit. Just a typical thing, like with any other mission that you've seen on the channel, and or any other thing on the channel and Kerbal Space Program mission that you've seen me do. But you'll see eventually that once I get myself into orbit, yeah, you can see how that target there, yeah, it's very at a very weird angle there, very sharp angle. So um, I was also having a bit of trouble with something because you don't see it in the recording, but I was talking to friends in Discord at the time as I was recording this, and there's a weird feature where for some reason there's like the little window with somebody's share screen on the bottom left, and it was covering where I was trying to do my maneuver nodes, and I usually prefer to click them in that panel there that you see on the bottom left instead of having to drag them. But this time I had to drag them, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I really do not prefer. I don't like to do it that way because I don't know. I feel like it's better just to be a little bit more precise by just clicking them one at a time and just raising and lowering the intensity of how much distance you cover with it or how much there is. So as I'm burning here, I started to realize that I should probably not do it all the way there and just do it on the other side as well because it'll just save fuel to be more efficient that way. So then I decided to do it again and flip over to the other side. Now this part here, once I get this trajectory, it takes so long. This mission, honestly, if you want to know, it took me over 40, like 42 minutes or something like that. It took a while because not only, and I didn't even keep in the fact that I had to bring back the manned crew as well, which that was totally fine. That one was super easy because I had plenty of fuel left, everything was fine. So that I didn't I'm not keeping that in here because I didn't record that bit. But I just have it to the part where the unmanned vessel actually makes it to the surface of Kerbin, and it's a mission success pretty much. And what's so funny too is that you'll see later that I actually stopped recording because there was a disaster that happened and I thought it was over, but apparently not. So I'm just foreshadowing that for a little for later. But here we go, going around the vessel here, and we and as we could see, I don't have RCS. Well, I do have RCS because this actually isn't in career mode. Actually, this is in the or the creative mode, I should say, sandbox mode. This is in the career mode. This is the actual save that I have for my live stream. So that's why I was mentioning it earlier. And I do have RCS, I believe, unlocked, but I don't. I'm so bad with RCS, guys. I don't know. I like, what is it? JKIL or something like that with the controls on keyboard and mouse. I don't know. I don't like it at all. I just prefer to turn down the thrust limiter on my engine and just kind of, play it by ear, or I guess in this case, play it by eye because I'm using your eyes to make sure that, we're doing trajectory here. So what I brought with me in this mission as well is I brought parachutes to attach, like more parachutes, and then I also brought a strut to see if I could attach it. But for some reason, Bill couldn't attach it to the vessel, and I tried all kinds of different angles here. I'm like, okay, maybe this angle is a little bit weird, so I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna, turn myself around and try it again, get a better angle here. Nope, so it didn't work either. And then I even tried at some point to attach the strut to itself to see if that worked, and it didn't work either. Because my plan was trying to strut them together so that way I could pull the vessel with me and we could all go down to Kerbin together in its atmosphere. But it didn't work that way. So I'm just like, okay. So my next idea is to push it with this vessel here, which I don't know, it didn't work out that well. So as you'll find out, um, just some weird means, especially if I was using a lander can, it probably would have worked so much better instead, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I probably should have brought a lander can with me instead because that would have had a flatter surface and that probably would have had a better time pushing it backwards. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I'm doing it this way. So because I'm not getting any good trajectory here. So I'm just like, the next best thing is just to do what I did during the stream, which was doing it manually. I think manually was the better option for this overall. So I try to line myself again, so that way, I'm not going too far away from the vessel or my ship here isn't flying away too fast. And then I just allow this to flip around on its own, face retrograde, and then I just start pushing from behind. Now, I was pretty efficient with this because it actually worked out a lot better than I anticipated. It takes several times to do this because I try to do it at apoapsis every time, because that's probably the most efficient way to do it instead of trying to do it at periapsis, because that wouldn't make sense. And then eventually it does get down, and that's why I have it sped up so fast, is because of this reason. Because it's just how many attempts it took. And I wanted to keep all this footage in too, because just to show you the struggle with this. It was quite the struggle, but luckily, I was able to do this in a successful way. Mission successful, but yeah. I mean, I'm kind of spoiling that it was successful, but I'm not explaining exactly how it was successful, which, I mean, we're coming up to that very soon. But yeah, I'm still going through here again, getting back to the vessel again, because I would push it a little bit, and then I would go back to the ship, then I would make my way back to it, rendezvous with it again, get back out, push it some more, etc., etc. Or at least get close, speed up time, apoapsis, get closer again, and then push it again. So yeah, I mean, it worked out. Worked out in the end. So yeah, this is the part where I'm just going to speed up time for a second. Yeah, so that way I'm not too far away from it, so I don't have to do all kinds of crazy maneuverings with it. And then I also thought of an idea for this too, like the direction that I'm pushing, why don't I just have the ship far away and then I don't have to spend as much time trying to get back to it or as much fuel to get back to it as I was. And then this was also the moment that I realized that this vessel ran out of power because it has no more control anymore. It has no more control, which probably was a bad idea because what I should have done before it ran out of power was to activate the parachutes because that whole time I did not activate the parachutes, which was really bad. But yeah, I push a little bit more, and then as you can see, I'm slowly getting closer to below 60,000 delta V, which is pretty awesome because we're in the high 70s, yeah, high 70 kilometer area. So we're making progress. We make progress with that. Yep. Yeah, it's just a repeat over and over and over again. So but this was a tricky mission, don't get me wrong, because I was also had plans to play with somebody too, and uh, with a friend of mine, and I'm just like, okay, I got to do this mission real quick, quote unquote, real quick, because this was not real quick. As I said, this took like over 40 minutes to do this, but I'm just glad I was able to get it, get it back down. I was able to actually get it out of orbit. I'm just so disappointed that I wasn't able to use the strut to attach it to the vessel. I would have been probably able to attach I should have brought a fuel duct instead because that probably would have been better. And I probably should have brought a solar panel. Probably should have brought a solar panel to attach to it if that was possible as well, because that would have at least given it some power. And I would have just given it a solar panel that would just like it's just open faced, not something that can be extended out because that probably would have required power to do that when it ran out of power. Next time I'll remember. If any time that this happens, which actually this is the first time that I've not the first time that I had to push a vessel manually, but this is the first time that I've had to do something like this to finish a contract because this vessel right here was actually meant to finish a contract because it did the docking as you see, the docking parts are together from each side. And then I was supposed to return home, but I wasn't able to do that. And because I wasn't able to return home, I wasn't able to finish the second half of the contract. So that's why I had to do this whole mission here in order for me to do this. So, I mean, and that's why it was perfect for a video, I think, just for this very reason. And I apologize for how many times that this video goes into the dark phase because I know that it's quite dark and I could try to do my best to probably brighten it up a little bit in all the parts, but I know there's a lot of sections with darkness in here. And most of the time I do speed up till we get to the bright side and then up higher, but we finally made it below 70,000 meters. So now I'm just completely focused on this vessel here because this vessel is what is going to help me finish this contract. And we kind of skid through the atmosphere, so it's not as bad. But I had to go around at least twice in order for me to get back down all the way. And I checked on the other vessel too. It was above 70,000 meters, so I was in the clear for that one. But as you can see, it's kind of spinning out of control. Since it has no power, it's spinning out of control and eventually start to heat up a little bit more. And I was actually pretty happy with the fact that it was spinning out of control like that because it wasn't burning up. And then I kind of slowed it down just to keep an eye on the heat. But this is the part that made me scared because it heated up really quickly and then it just exploded. And I thought it was the end. But this is where the part where I cut back. And look at this. I actually had a piece of the vessel that was still left. And I think that's what happened. Well, it didn't happen in the stream, but I was, I was so worried. I'm like, no, all is lost. All is lost. But nope. And this part is actually slowed down for you guys to get a full experience as to, it's back to normal speed. So you guys get a full experience of exactly how this went. And I'm like spamming space because I'm like, oh my gosh, parachutes, please. Deploy, deploy, deploy. And I totally forgot it doesn't have power, so I can't deploy. So I'm like, great. I was so scared. Like my stomach was dropping because I'm like, I don't want to have to do all this again. I don't want to have to do this mission all over again, go back to Eve and everything, because I've been to Eve like a billion times. But thankfully, watch what happens here. This is honestly pretty crazy. Boom. It like the whole bottom part just explodes, but the the core remains. It remains, and I finished the contract, which is awesome. Oh my gosh, like this was an amazing point here. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this, be sure to leave a like if you haven't already. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to hit subscribe as well. I'd like to give a shout out to all of my channel members whose names I put up on the screen right now. If you're interested in seeing exclusive content on the channel or using exclusive emotes during live streams, be sure to hit that join button down below and become a Savvy Superstar today or a Savvy Specialist today. Anyway, I've been Savvy, and I will see you guys in the next one. Man, this was a crazy mission. Bye, guys. See you later.